Hey, it's coffee time. Morning, y'all. Good to see you. This is your Sensa Al Bob. And last night, I tried to um, assist the cadre in a guided meditation to enable them to be able to remote view what's coming down. I keep talking about this window of opportunity, and once it gets closed, um, well, that opportunity will be out the window. But if you're a student of history as I am, um, and you see that pretty much lots of people keep saying, if you don't take a look at what's going on, you're just destined to repeat it. And if we are in a a present environment is one of distraction. You know, commercialism, materialism. Um, it's Rome's bread and circus on steroids. And I was talking about that too, about how what are the habitual activities that we do that we're stuck on, right? And we're kind of stuck on them because of you know how intense our environment affects our hormonal structure. Back in the day, in the dark ages, we just kind of moped along through the mud. Um, you were born, you lived, you died. Kind of was it, right? Um, and it was intermittently punctuated by some catastrophe, right? Well, it's still like that, but it's on steroids, and it's in a frame, not a social frame, not a religious frame, not a shamanic frame. It's in a frame of your basic. Um, the people put on the goggles. And back in the day they had horse blinders. Now we have VR goggles, and we're living in a virtual reality, which just totally banks. You know what banking is? Putting there's the bank of the river, there's a bank that corporations steal money from, and then there's the bank of the furnace. All of these things bring forth a energetic response. Right. So last night I wanted to give the opportunity for the cadre to again go into state, go into their you know library and see their Akashic record and view it, and see what's going on, where they came from, who are they, what's going on, what are we here for? That I thought were pretty important questions. Unlike, I kind of watch the sea of first of all, I was the stream. That's pretty amazing. People just put stuff on. Oh, you need to watch this out, and I appreciate everything. People, contact me on my Gmail, the Dude Awake 42, and put stuff up there that I go and watch. And there's my stream that the algorithm puts stuff on me for watching. People, in the contact at the bottom of these things, put things for me to watch and comments. Not as much as I'd like. And that's what I want to talk to about this morning. What I would really like to see is that, so the live chat. So I do these, basically YouTube live chats because it's easy for me. I just hit one button, bing. People who produce their, and have that nice logo and music and well, that's all well and nice, but I don't have it in me to do it. I don't have the hardware. I don't have the know-how. Don't have the experience. I'm not the great, brilliant movie producer that mommy and dad sent me to school for years to do that, and and that, have all that hardware that mommy and daddy bought, and I'm living in mommy and daddy's house, and I'm on the bop. And that's another thing I want to tell the general folk is that, pretty much after the first year, I'm going to be really on the bop. Have no idea where I'm going to be, right? Um, have no one said, "Oh, Al, come and stay with us. We'd love to have you there. You're such a great, guest by always washing the dishes and vacuuming the floor and doing the laundry and fixing all the things that are broken in our house." No one's even taken that opportunity. I'm pretty amazed. And I'll sleep anywhere. I'm like sleeping in a coal bin. It's warm. You always got to look for the positive side of where you are. I could whine about everything, but I don't. Meaning, I apologize profusely. Look at last night. I got down on my hands and knees and begged for forgiveness. Hail, praise. Oh, please forgive me. Not hail and praise me, but for all of those people in the live chat who are just so perfect and want to, So my new little rule is, because I can make this rule because this is my little channel. It's our channel, but unless you're being the we and me, don't want to see it, right? But you can put all you want on the comments. That's including you trolls, But if you go on the live chat and you troll, even if you're part of the cadre, eh. And so that's it, because, we spent that, almost 3 hours of last night's live chat. We almost spent 2 hours going on, about, not stuff that like, hey, what's going on in the world? There are, lots of things that are going on, in the environment. The planet is changing, and it's not from your car exhaust, or sun, our electromagnetic field. The poles are changing, and we are on the edge of, a pole shift. And ooh, if that really happens 100%, you're going to be like in a wearing blender, meaning the our mantle just kind of rests on top of the magma. And if the electromagnetic, everything is electromagnetic. You're electromagnetic. The sun is electromagnetic. Weather is electromagnetic. Our planets are electromagnetic. So if our poles were to shift, we would spin like a roulette wheel, right? And it would spin like, maybe 15 to 6,000 miles an hour on the surface. Meaning the surface would be spinning like that. And how do we know this? Because they drill holes into the earth and take out cores. And when they take that core out, they can see what happened over the last billion to 6 billion years. G to G, we ain't spinning OB. No, what do you mean? We ain't spinning? Meaning we ain't spinning now? We ain't gonna spin? See, you gotta be a little more like Fish last night. He just made these like 2-word kind of comments about things that mean nothing. I mean, you have to be specific. How deep is the deepest hole, OB? Well, they, it's like they have, dug holes all the way to the core, right? I mean, they have technology that, is not advertised, on Home Shopping Network, No. Okay. Well, no is a nice word, but, be a little more specific. They haven't. Deepest hole is 7 miles. That's what's advertised, right? But, they have, like I said, scalar. They have, exotic technologies. Most of the things you see flying around in space is, ours, or not ours, but the hidden space force. Go. And they say, so G to G. Have you ever gone to the site called Dark um, Journalist? Right, that guy is a portal to the rabbit hole, and you know, so okay, you can keep going on G2G. Well, but see, you're kind of like going off subject, because what I was talking about, the little, thing of, you know, the pole shifting and the planet spinning around like a roulette wheel, that was just one little statement, meaning saying things are a lot stranger and deeper than we're being led to believe, because we're being distracted by the circus of Donald Trump. And what's interesting about Donald Trump is that he is what is known in the biz as an unexpected consequence. They thought by putting that, they put him, he was The Apprentice, his TV show. He was apprenticing to be the president. And so, the, they expected him to do X and he's doing Y, right? And, when he goes on about fake news, he's right. Virtually everything is fake news, right? And it has been since they started putting cuneiforms on stone, right? And that's why there is, in everything that's written, there is this unexpected consequence of our little subconscious that basically can't help but tell the truth, right? Just puts it there. Maybe sideways, maybe upside down, maybe that's why you got to turn the book around to look for the key, right? So, and that's what Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Bob is. I am your griot telling you a story. Hey, and we've been talking now for 12 minutes and 21 seconds. I love it when it does that. And I haven't said, hey, good morning. This is your Sensei Bob, your griot, and I'm only here to tell you a story. Don't believe a word I say. You got that? G to G? Don't believe a word I say. All major figures are really swapped with it. Surprise you. Nothing surprises me. I don't believe anything, but nothing surprises me, because, if whatever you are, you could be, a Swiss cheese sandwich. But if you're sweet and nice and good, and telling me interesting, I bite in that Swiss cheese sandwich, and all this interesting stuff goes into me. I go, I like this Swiss cheese sandwich. I'm not going to ask whether it's a male or female Swiss cheese sandwich. So, I like that pumpernickel bread. Oh, it's tickling this little part of my brain, and I'm thinking about unknown civilizations because I've eaten the Swiss cheese sandwich. Don't touch the third. Well, man, once I drank from the third teapot, there was no going back. No, sorry. I drank it, right? And I was trying to get the animals into the convy to go to the pub to have a beer, That's when the old crone showed up in her Land Rover, she had the oldest Land Rover known to the universe. It was like running on steam. And so anyway, A0 Infinity. Everyone. Oh, we're doing pretty good. G2G, how long have you been watching our channel? You should have jumped in sooner. Or are you just coming aboard? Because I like your, see, G2G just kept saying things like no. And I said, hey, you got to be a little more specific. And then G2G wrote this great one here. If I told you all major figures are secretly sex swapped, would it surprise you? That's really specific and a really interesting thing, and basically I'd say no, it doesn't surprise me. Yeah, what forensic anthropology is, yes, it's guys who dust off bones and can tell you almost everything about what that person was by their bones. There's no skin, there's no muscle, there's no tendons, there's nothing to organically, um, you know, no, you can't tell what's been in their gut. But forensic anthropologists, man, they can go there. Now I'm a little different, meaning I don't look at bones. I've studied looking at bones, but it doesn't interest me. What I like to do, that's why I'm a shamanic, psychosocial, cultural, forensic anthropologist, alchemist, right? So again, I start from the point of putting it into a shamanic frame, which is an indigenous frame, right? From, the word indigenous means people who come from there, right? Kind of means other things, but simplistically, you were there. Now they may billion years ago walked across something to get there, but they've been there longer than anybody else, right? Especially European invaders, right? So, and they have a all our relations point of view. That's really the shamanic point of view. All our relations, everybody, right? So come from that. So psycho, it doesn't mean you're crazy. Psycho means, what's going on, right? Just what's going on. It's not, making any judgments, right? Like what, and that's why psychologists and psychology is again a bogus discipline. It's not even a discipline. It's their opinion. Oh, I think he's psychotic. Oh, I think he's, got multiple personalities. No, he's got DID. No, he's Asperger's. No, he's no. So, what's going on? Psyches. What's up here? Like the Latin word psyche. What's going on up there? Right. To understand that, you need to know the social orientation. Right. What kind of even if you're switching them, what kind of sandwich you like, what's your job, what, sports do you follow? That's the social motif. That's the social culture that's around you, your orientation, right? Now, psychosocial cultural, that's where grandma came from, and so what traditions move from the old world into your social orientation, right? That's psychosocial cultural, right? And then that's where I go to the forensic, because by this time we've got three threads in the tapestry that is you, right? So I take and look at all those threads. That's what that forensically I do. I look at the threads, not the bones, the threads. So I'm not an anthropologic, and I put anthropology at the end of that, psychosocial, cultural, forensic anthropologist, right? And what is anthropology? It was, again, a pseudoscience, a discipline developed by white guys to prove that white guys were superior to everybody else. That's what anthropology is. But there was I have to get this guy's name, but all I have to do is go look for Margaret Mead, right? Go to Wikipedia, Google her, and see, she went to Columbia in New York City, and she studied with this guy who came over from Europe running away from Adolf. And he said, no, I'm going to, look, I'm going to look at anthropology not as, proving white guys are the best. He was the guy who invented psychosocial cultural forensic anthropology. He didn't call it that, but you read his books, and the real thing to read is his students' books, his effect on his students, and his major. That class that Margaret Mead was in, there was another woman who went down to New Mexico and studied anthropologically the dynamic, the psychosocial cultural forensic anthropologic dynamic of indigenous people, Native Americans, Hopi, Navajo, Plains Indians, and what Europeans did to them from around 1492 until 1942. And so Margaret Mead's book was, Teenagers in Samoa. and she went to Samoa because it was still pretty much people in grass skirts, but because of World War II, it affected them. They actually had religions where they were, a soda bottle fell out of the sky from an airplane and they sing it as God. So Margaret Mead, this other woman. Then there is Zara, this black woman who was the queen of the Harlem Renaissance, and Columbia was right up there near Harlem, and she came from Florida, right? She came from a place called Port St. Lucie, and she was a painter, a poet, a playwright, and an anthropologist, and everything else, right? An activist, and then there was a guy, one lone guy. I would have liked to have been that guy, and in that crew, and they did more to change the world's view, these 4 women and 1 guy, than anybody else. 2 guys, their teacher, right? So go study those guys, and you will see what psychosocial cultural forensic anthropology is. What I am. That's where I kind of got it, right? Okay. What was the gang saying here? What? Let's see how. So we male, female, what different? Yeah, okay. I watched you for 2 years. Yeah, well, good. I love it. Thanks for. You're one of the 50,000 people who watch but don't comment, which is fine by me, right? And you're doing a great job commenting here, G2G. I like it. Yeah. So Einstein was a woman. Yeah, no. Really what it was. I don't know what. I never met Einstein, so I can't say what he was, right? But the real deal about Einstein is that his cousin, who he married, was the genius. All of the math. He was a loser at math. And she should have gotten the Nobel Prize, but he did everything he could to throw her under the bus, right? So I don't know what sex they were, but I sure do know who was the better mathematician, the better physicist, the real genius was his female cousin that he married. I would go, G2G, I'd go with the same thing. Like I have to fill out all these forms all the time, and there's always a place in there that says race, and I always write in human. And these people lose their rigging. You want your blah, 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 you gotta put in what race you are. And then I put in Swiss cheese sandwich. Do you like that, G2G? Adolf Hitler was a woman. I wouldn't want, if I was a woman, I wouldn't want that said, He was, he was nuts, and he was just a poster child. He did not have anything to do with thinking up anything of nationalist socialism. And he didn't even write Mein Kampf. It was written for him. Just like Donnie, all his books are written for him. Why do you think Charlie Chaplin was bow-legged? Man, you are really, really going full bore on this one. So I'm all down. Just keep, anybody can say whatever they want on the old live chat as long as they're at least somewhat detailed as G2G, right? But once, G2G, if you come on tonight when I want to do a guided meditation, you can't be disruptive. In the morning chats, you can say whatever. This is my new rules, right? New rules. You can do whatever you want, say whatever you want in the morning chats, right? Evening, we're going to do guided meditations. And I'm just going to get you to your Akashic record. You take it from there and then talk about what you see, right? And I bet you, G2G, you'll be great at this. You'll be. So tonight, we're going to, again, and I'm not going to waste any time with anyone who wants to disrupt on the live chat. I'm either going to just ignore it or click it out. So if you want to, browbeat me, do it on the comments after the show, right? The more comments, the better, right? Okay. And I'd love to hear from you, G2G, at my the Dude Awake 42 at Gmail. Dude Awake 42 at Gmail. Anybody who wants to get hold of me. my Gmail. There it is. One of the sad facts, I am so open with that because I want to be free to have conversations with people about their personal stuff and not have it on the World Wide Web here. And yet the, you know, moron trolls just, take up my time there. That's why I don't really respond as quickly as I used to, because I'll go on, it'll be 60, 70 things, and half of them are trolls, right? So I'm, now usually I used to read everything and try to make a salient comment, but I'm not going to do that anymore. Just going to, boop, if you were a troll or you're a waste of time, see you later, bye. You can comment down on the comment thing all you want. All you want, right? Okay. 0. I've already... I have... just say... Right. Yep. Go figure. And again, you can say anything you want as long as it is somewhat reasonably thought out. But saying things like, what is this? Tesla had 6 toes, female skeleton, Maryland moron, 6 toes, Hale Berry, 6. I mean, I never looked at Halle Berry's foot, so I'm not quite sure. But it's somewhat interesting. And G2G, if you don't want to be bounced out of here, you got to be not repetitive. You got to be interesting, just like that Swiss cheese sandwich. It's got to be tasty. It's got to be interesting. And in the evenings, not disruptive. You can go on as much as you want in the morning live chat, right? You can say whatever you want on the comments, right? But in the evening, I'm going to save that for guided meditation. And anyone who's a distraction over here, because, I just ignore it, but a lot of people read it. And so they're trying to meditate and they're looking at it. I'm just going to bing, bounce it out, right? So, and if I can figure out if I can turn the live chat on and off at will during it, when we're doing meditation, I might just turn the live chat off and go through the meditation and then turn it back on to hear what people have to say. Because again, time is getting short. I'm going to be, after the new year, I'm going to be on the BOP. So I'm not going to be as available as I am now, where I'm in a place that there are a number of Wi-Fis around I can go to and communicate. So that's, new rules. And between now and the first of the year, which is about a week, give or take, I really want to, drill down, focus on the facts of your life. I want to give you the tools to go into your Akashic record and get the information, right? And then talk to the cadre about your experience so you can share that experience and not, revivify the traumas of your childhood and blame everyone else, So that's my new rules. And it's 28 minutes and 55 seconds. And Zero Infinity, good to see you. I'm a Jurassic clone. Yes, I think so. Oh, I really think I'm a Ben and Jerry's, coconut pop, But in the places that I have to fill out forms to get any kind of assistance, I always put in where it says race, human. And it blows my mind how these people, it stops them in their tracks. You can't say that, blah, 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 blah. So they'll make it a law that you get shot if you call yourself a human being, You have to be a separate thing. Sorry. No. We're Homo sapiens sapien. Mm. And whatever you popped out of your mom's vagina as, it's not your fault, you know. So, and you got to get over that. I mean, I had the worst of traumas. You know, I was strangled, twice. My head was nearly popped off like a tick. Um, and I was taken away by this guardian angel doctor who saved my life and my mom's life. And I almost got away without getting, circumcised, but they did that to me anyway, like a few days later. Like, what? I mean, right there, that's enough of a trauma to screw up every male on the planet. And conversely, in a lot of cultures, they do a similar thing, but even worse to young girls. So it's, folks, don't you realize that the whole concept of PTSD has been around a long time? It's a control mechanism. Put the human race, the most horrific. That's what the Dark Ages were. So anyway, let's see where we're going with all this. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, I don't know, Zero. I don't watch television, so I mean, I do it. I binge it because I don't have access to it. So when I'm at a place where they do have TV, I'll watch it for like 48 hours straight till I fall over. Yeah, I don't think they can clone me. I came from a different jar. See, I don't even understand that. There is no nothing inside except a few. Oh. You're talking about the planet. Okay. Or are you talking about me? there's nothing inside of me but a few liners. Man and end of mine. You don't listen to authority. That's a good one. You're starting off, I'm having more respect for you, G2G. If I am my own authority. I mean, you're responsible, so you have authority for yourself, but nobody else, So if that's what you're talking about, I'm down, right? But you should listen. I listen to everything. I mean, a lot of people get upset with me because I never argue. I just kind of, you hear me here as your griot just going on and on and on and on. But in real life, and I'm dealing with folk, I don't say much. I came, the first, 15 years of my life, I was I was taught by my grandmother first, but just by her example, and by Madam Olga Kluber to be an active listener. Everywhere we went in New York City, everyone knew my grandma, right? And she was like 5'2", and I was like about 4'3", and we definitely looked like Mutton Chef. And she always wore the same black coat, and she would have these crazy knitted hats that she would knit herself. I mean, she wore everything black. She's your basic Italian grandma widower, everything black. But her hats, she would have these rainbow crazy hats with all these like mylar little circles that reflected. So she would walk down the street on a sunny day, and she was like reflecting every which way. She was blinding half the people walking towards us. And so it was really strange to see this woman dressed in black, wearing these crazy hats, and that's why I became a crazy hat guy. But the interesting thing, we would go into places, and underneath her, because Catholic women, when they went into church, they'd wear a scarf. So my grandma viewed that the whole world was, God's church. So she would wear, she also did very fine, not knitting, but embroidery. And she would make these amazing scarves embroidered out of cotton and silk and lots of different, but not synthetic things. She wouldn't have synthetic things on her, you know, touching her, right? So she would wear this kind of beautiful scarf, right? And then on top of it, she would put these crazy, wool hats with mylar. Not all of them had the reflectors, but a lot of once she found you know a kilo of these mylar things, and she would just anyway. When we would go into places like museums or churches or anything like that, she would take off her wild hat and just wear these beautiful tiaras of embroidered amazingness. And let's see, I listened to one of your videos. You are, uh, I am an idiot. Thank you for that. They are trying to hide God. This man's courage is because it's a woman. Are you thinking like that? You gotta be kidding me. No, basically, you know, there's only one reality, um, zero, and that is love's co-creation. Everything else is an illusion, right? And men and women, we're human beings. Oh, and you were, if you weren't. Yeah, the whole evolution thing is a monk. So zero. Have you ever watched Midnight Chicken? Or it's like it used to be on Nick at Night or something like that, but it's something chicken. And they have these great little animated cartoon things, and they have this one where the alien comes down to prehistoric world, finds a cheeky monkey, grabs it, grabs a little of its DNA, puts it in the CRISPR, and turns out a creature that's called Bob. That's me. And it's hilarious because the smartest of the three is the cheeky monkey. The alien, who's got all this great technology and is tall and, no. And that's supposed to be the Anunnaki, who supposed to have genetically engineer us to be miners of gold and, cannon fodder. So, no, zero. I don't believe in anything except um, God is love. And the only thing that exists is love's co creation. And God, within the construct of love's co creation, because God, I'm big on words, where they came from, what they mean. If you take God all the way back to Sumerian, it means ball. Ball is Satan, right? So I'm not big on the word God, right? Or any word that defines the all knowing, you know? It's above my pay grade to know. I went to school, my family, Catholic, godfather, cardinal. I was going to be a priest, I was going to be a rocket scientist for the Pope. And so I went through that whole thing, and I kept talking about what Jesus was talking about, um, the love creation, right? And that we had to be more considerate of the poor, right? Because I came from a relatively, I wouldn't call us affluent, but well-to-do. We weren't rich, but we had a higher status than others, and that was my dad's. He was like, he wanted to be a millionaire in the worst of ways and raise his status as high as he could. And me, all I wanted to do is know love. So zero, I'm all about. Not, and I have to agree. I'm, cracking stupid. I'm a cracking idiot. I don't pertain to know anything. What do I say when I keep starting this show? Don't believe a word I say. I'm just telling you a story. Like it's like a night whopper, right? name is Dad. Please. Like I said, morning live chats, you guys can say whatever you want. Nighttime ones, you go this way tonight, off you go. You can after the show, you can say whatever you want on the comment, right? So this is the new order of dreamy dreamland. I've been doing this now 15 months, and I gave you guys 15 months to meditate and pray. So, Azira, what do you think of prayer? Poncho Pete. Like I said, you guys are like a great Swiss cheese sandwich. Very tasty, very entertaining. It's percolating my taste buds. It's fine. In the morning, not a problem. At night, you'll get bopped out of here because I want to focus on prayer, right? And meditation and having you guys have the tools to be able to, you know, see for yourself. You can't, that's one of the problems of most religions. They go on about, I know what the truth is. God talked to me. Anyone who goes on about how God talks to them, please. Boom, 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 boom. Oh. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Oh, I'm okay. I'm on live chat with, boy, do I have a bunch of fruitcakes. Yeah, yeah. And I'm laying down rules that in the morning chat they can say whatever they want. Night chat, we're going to meditate and go into our Akashic records and look at things. So if they want to distract that, like I spent 3 hours trying to get a bunch of yahoos to shut the frack up, you know. And so I decided new rules because I can do it. If they go that way at night, bingo, they just go away. Anyway, everything's good. How's your everything going? You gonna stay there through Christmas? Uh-huh. Okay. She. Oh, that's terrible. Well, of two of them, I really love Polly. Not love. She had such a heart of gold. That lady. I mean, her husband. He's a bit opinionated, and that's okay as long as you're not always right. And he's a big man. Oh, yeah.